Right now, at this very moment, you have the power to end your suffering. You have the power to choose peace over pain, joy over sorrow, and freedom over the chains that bind you. The truth is, suffering is not something that happens to you. It's something you do to yourself. And if you're doing it to yourself, then you can stop doing it. Most people live their entire lives believing that their suffering comes from outside sources. They blame their parents, their childhood, their circumstances, their job, their relationships, their health, their finances. But here's what I want you to understand. Your suffering doesn't come from any of these things. Your suffering comes from your thoughts about these things. It comes from your resistance to what is. It comes from your attachment to how you think things should be rather than accepting how they actually are. Think about the last time you were really upset about something. Was it the actual event that caused your suffering, or was it your thoughts about the event? Was it what happened, or was it the story you told yourself about what happened? The event itself was neutral. It was just something that occurred. But your mind took that neutral event and created a story around it. You decided it was terrible, unfair, wrong, or catastrophic, and that story, that interpretation, that judgment, that's what caused your suffering. You see, the mind is like a storytelling machine. It never stops creating narratives about everything that happens to you. And most of these stories are based on fear, lack, and limitation. The mind tells you that you're not good enough, that you don't have enough, that you're in danger, that you're a victim, that life is hard, that you can't trust anyone, that you're alone, that you're powerless. These stories feel so real, so convincing that you believe them completely. But they're just stories. They're not the truth. The truth is that you are not your thoughts, you are not your emotions, you are not your circumstances, you are not your past, you are not your problems. You are the awareness that observes all of these things. You are the consciousness that experiences them. You are the one who has the power to choose which thoughts to believe and which thoughts to let go of. When you realize this, everything changes. When you understand that you are not at the mercy of your thoughts and emotions, that you can observe them without being controlled by them, you become free. You become free from the suffering that comes from believing every thought that pops into your head. You become free from the drama that comes from taking everything personally. You become free from the prison of your own mind. But how do you do this? How do you free yourself from suffering? It starts with awareness. You have to become aware of your thoughts and emotions instead of being lost in them. You have to learn to step back and observe them like you would observe clouds passing in the sky. You don't try to stop the clouds or change them. You just watch them come and go. You can do the same thing with your thoughts and emotions. When you feel anger, don't become the anger. Notice the anger. Say to yourself, I'm noticing anger arising. When you feel sad, don't become the sadness. Notice the sadness. Say to yourself, I'm noticing sadness arising. When you have a fearful thought, don't become the fear. Notice the fearful thought. Say to yourself, I'm noticing a fearful thought arising. This simple shift in awareness changes everything. Instead of being overwhelmed by your thoughts and emotions, you become the observer of them, and the observer is always peaceful. The observer is always free. The observer is your true self, your authentic self, your spiritual self. Now, I know what you might be thinking. You might be thinking, this sounds nice in theory, but what about real problems? What about serious issues like illness, death, financial problems, relationship problems? Are you saying I should just ignore these things? No, I'm not saying that at all. I'm saying that you can respond to these situations from a place of peace and wisdom rather than reacting from a place of fear and suffering. When you're centered in your true self, when you're connected to your inner peace, you can handle any situation with grace and wisdom. You can take appropriate action without being overwhelmed by panic or despair. You can face challenges with courage instead of fear. You can make decisions from love instead of fear. The key is to understand that problems are not the enemy. Resistance to problems is the enemy. Suffering comes not from the problems themselves, but from your resistance to them. When you stop resisting what is, when you stop fighting against reality, you find peace, even in difficult circumstances. This doesn't mean you become passive or that you don't take action to improve your situation. It means you take action from a place of peace rather than from a place of panic. You respond rather than react. You choose your response based on wisdom rather than being driven by compulsive emotional reactions. Let me tell you about acceptance. Acceptance doesn't mean you like everything that happens to you. It doesn't mean you're okay with injustice or that you don't try to change things for the better. Acceptance means you acknowledge reality as it is right now without wasting your energy fighting against it. It means you start from where you are rather than where you think you should be. When you accept what is, you stop adding the second layer of suffering to your experience. The first layer is the actual situation, the loss, the disappointment, the challenge. The second layer is your thoughts about the situation, your resistance, your anger, your story about how things should be different. The first layer is often unavoidable. The second layer is optional. And the second layer is usually much more painful than the first. Think about it this way. If you're stuck in traffic, you have two choices. You can accept that you're stuck in traffic and use the time to listen to music, practice breathing, or simply be present. Or you can resist being stuck in traffic, get angry, honk your horn, curse at other drivers, and arrive at your destination stressed and upset. The traffic is the same either way. The difference is in your response to it. The same principle applies to everything in life. You can accept your current circumstances and respond with wisdom and grace, or you can resist your circumstances and create additional suffering for yourself. The choice is always yours. Now, let's talk about forgiveness. Forgiveness is one of the most powerful tools for freeing yourself from suffering. But forgiveness is often misunderstood. People think forgiveness means excusing bad behavior or pretending that hurtful things didn't happen. That's not what forgiveness is at all. Forgiveness is letting go of your resentment and anger towards someone who has hurt you. It's releasing the negative emotions that are poisoning your own life. It's choosing peace over the desire for revenge. It's freeing yourself from the prison of your own bitterness. When you hold on to anger and resentment, you're not hurting the person who wronged you. You're hurting yourself. You're carrying around toxic emotions that eat away at your peace of mind. You're giving your power away to someone else. You're allowing their past actions to control your present happiness. Forgiveness is not for the other person. It's for you. It's a gift you give to yourself. It's how you reclaim your power and your peace. It's how you free yourself from the past and step into the present moment with a clear heart and mind. But how do you forgive when you've been deeply hurt? How do you let go of anger when someone has wronged you? It starts with understanding that forgiveness is a process, not a one-time event. It's something you choose to do over and over again until it becomes natural. You start by recognizing that holding on to anger and resentment is hurting you more than it's hurting anyone else. You recognize that you're choosing to suffer by replaying the painful event in your mind over and over again. You recognize that you're giving your power away to someone else by allowing their actions to control your emotional state. Then you make a decision. You decide that you want to be free more than you want to be right. You decide that you want peace more than you want revenge. You decide that you want to move forward rather than stay stuck in the past. This doesn't mean you forget what happened or that you trust someone who has betrayed you. It means you release the emotional charge around the event. You let go of the story about how you were wronged and how the other person should be punished. You stop rehearsing the drama in your mind. Forgiveness is ultimately about taking responsibility for your own happiness. It's about recognizing that you have the power to choose how you respond to what happens to you. It's about reclaiming your authority over your own emotional state. Let me share something with you about the ego. The ego is the part of your mind that creates separation and suffering. It's the part of you that believes you're separate from everyone and everything else. It's the part of you that's constantly comparing, competing, judging, and defending. It's the part of you that takes everything personally and creates drama out of everything. The ego loves to be right, even when being right makes you miserable. The ego loves to be a victim, even when playing the victim keeps you powerless. The ego loves to be special, even when trying to be special separates you from others. The ego loves to be in control, even when trying to control everything creates stress and anxiety. The ego is not your enemy. It's just a part of your mind that served a purpose when you were younger, but is no longer serving you. It's like a security system that's become oversensitive and is now sounding false alarms all the time. You don't need to destroy the ego. You just need to recognize it for what it is and choose not to be controlled by it. When you identify with your ego, you suffer. When you identify with your true self, you're free. Your true self is the part of you that's always peaceful, always loving, always wise. It's the part of you that's connected to everyone and everything. It's the part of you that knows you're already whole and complete just as you are. The ego tells you that you need to achieve something, acquire something, or become something in order to be happy. Your true self knows that you're already everything you need to be. The ego tells you that you're separate and alone. Your true self knows that you're connected to all of life. The ego tells you that you're not good enough. Your true self knows that you're perfect just as you are. When you live from your true self, you don't need external validation. You don't need to prove anything to anyone. You don't need to be better than anyone else. You don't need to have more than anyone else. You're already whole and complete. You're already worthy of love and respect. You're already enough. This understanding is liberating. It frees you from the endless struggle to be something you're not. It frees you from the need to impress others or seek their approval. It frees you from the fear of not being good enough. It frees you from the suffering that comes from believing you're lacking something. Now, let's talk about the present moment. The present moment is the only place where life exists. The past is gone. The future hasn't happened yet. All you have is now. But most people spend their lives living in the past or the future. They are either regretting what happened or worrying about what might happen. They're missing the only moment that actually exists. When you live in the past, you create suffering by reliving old hurts, mistakes, and disappointments. You keep painful memories alive by giving them your attention and energy. You prevent yourself from moving forward by staying stuck in what was. When you live in the future, you create suffering by worrying about what might happen. You create anxiety by imagining worst-case scenarios. You rob yourself of the joy and peace that are available to you right now by focusing on problems that may never occur. The present moment is where your power is. It's where your peace is. It's where your joy is. It's where your freedom is. When you're fully present, you're not suffering. You might be experiencing physical pain or facing challenges, but you're not adding mental and emotional suffering to your experience. Being present doesn't mean you don't plan for the future or learn from the past. It means you don't get lost in thoughts about the future or past. It means you use the past as a teacher and the future as a motivator, but you live in the now. How do you become more present? You start by paying attention to your breath. Your breath is always happening in the present moment. When you focus on your breathing, you automatically come into the now. You can also pay attention to your senses. What do you see, hear, smell, taste, or feel right now? Your senses are always operating in the present moment. You can also practice mindfulness throughout your day. When you're eating, really taste your food. When you're walking, feel your feet on the ground. When you're talking to someone, really listen to what they're saying. When you're doing any activity, be fully engaged in it instead of thinking about something else. The more you practice presence, the more natural it becomes. And the more present you become, the less you suffer. You can't suffer in the present moment because suffering requires either dwelling on the past or worrying about the future. Let me tell you about love. Love is not just an emotion. Love is your natural state. It's what you are when you're not caught up in the drama of the ego. It's what remains when you let go of fear, anger, and judgment. It's the essence of who you are. Most people think love is something you get from others. They think love is something you have to earn or deserve. They think love is conditional and depends on your behavior, your achievements, or your appearance. But that's not love. That's need, attachment, or approval seeking. Real love is unconditional. It's not based on what you do or don't do. It's not based on whether you're perfect or imperfect. It's not based on whether you meet someone's expectations or not. Real love is a state of being, not a feeling that depends on circumstances. When you know that you are loved, you don't need to seek love from others. You don't need to manipulate or control others to get love. You don't need to change yourself to be worthy of love. You can give love freely because you know you have an infinite supply of it within you. This understanding transforms all your relationships. Instead of needing others to make you happy, you can be happy and share that happiness with others. Instead of trying to get love, you can give love. Instead of being dependent on others for your sense of worth, you can be independent and choose to share your life with others from a place of fullness rather than emptiness. When you approach relationships from a place of love rather than need, everything changes. You're not trying to get something from the other person. You're not trying to change them or fix them. You're not taking their behavior personally. You're simply loving them for who they are while taking care of your own needs and boundaries. This doesn't mean you become a doormat or that you accept abusive behavior. It means you love others without trying to control them. You love them without conditions, but you also love yourself enough to remove yourself from situations that are harmful to you. Love is also how you heal from suffering. When you love yourself, you stop being your own worst enemy. You stop the internal criticism and judgment that creates so much pain. You treat yourself with the same kindness and compassion you would show to a good friend. Self-love is not selfish. It's necessary. You can't give what you don't have. If you don't love yourself, you can't truly love others. If you don't take care of yourself, you can't take care of others. If you don't value yourself, you can't add value to others' lives. Self-love means treating yourself with respect. It means honoring your needs and boundaries. It means speaking to yourself with kindness. It means forgiving yourself for your mistakes. It means celebrating your successes. It means taking care of your physical, mental, and emotional health. When you love yourself, you naturally attract love from others. When you respect yourself, others respect you. When you value yourself, others value you. When you're kind to yourself, others are kind to you. This is not magic. This is simply the natural result of how you treat yourself being reflected back to you in your relationships. Now, let's talk about gratitude. Gratitude is one of the fastest ways to shift from suffering to joy. When you focus on what you're grateful for, you can't simultaneously focus on what's wrong with your life. Gratitude and suffering can't coexist in the same mental space. Most people focus on what's missing from their lives. They focus on what's wrong, what they don't have, what they wish were different. This focus creates a sense of lack and dissatisfaction. It makes them feel like victims of their circumstances. It keeps them stuck in negative emotional states. Gratitude shifts your focus to what's working in your life. It helps you see the abundance that's already present. It reminds you of all the good things you might be taking for granted. It connects you to the gifts that are available to you right now. You don't have to wait until everything is perfect to be grateful. You can be grateful for small things. You can be grateful for your health, your family, your friends, your home, your food, your ability to read, your ability to breathe, your ability to think, your ability to choose your thoughts and responses. When you practice gratitude regularly, you train your mind to look for the positive aspects of your life. You develop a habit of appreciation rather than a habit of complaint. You become someone who sees opportunities instead of problems, blessings instead of burdens, gifts instead of obligations. Gratitude is also a form of acceptance. When you're grateful for what you have, you're accepting your current situation as it is. You're not wishing things were different. You're not resisting reality. You're finding value in what's already present in your life. This doesn't mean you don't want to improve your situation or that you don't have goals and dreams. It means you're not making your happiness dependent on achieving those goals. You're happy now with what you have while you work toward what you want. Gratitude is a choice. You can choose to focus on what you're grateful for, or you can choose to focus on what you're unhappy about. You can choose to appreciate what you have, or you can choose to complain about what you don't have. You can choose to see the glass as half full, or you can choose to see it as half empty. The circumstances of your life might be the same either way, but your experience of those circumstances will be completely different. When you choose gratitude, you choose happiness. When you choose complaint, you choose suffering. It's that simple. Let me talk to you about surrender. Surrender is not giving up. It's not being passive or weak. It's not accepting injustice or refusing to take action. Surrender is releasing your attachment to outcomes. It's doing your best and then letting go of the results. It's trusting that everything will work out for the best, even if you can't see how. Most people suffer because they're attached to specific outcomes. They have a picture of how things should be, and when reality doesn't match that picture, they suffer. They resist what is and demand that life be different. They fight against the natural flow of life and create stress and anxiety for themselves. Surrender is the opposite of resistance. It's flowing with life instead of fighting against it. It's trusting the process instead of trying to control every detail. It's having faith that everything happens for a reason, even when you can't understand what that reason is. When you surrender, you stop wasting energy on things you can't control. You focus your energy on things you can influence. You take action when action is needed, and you let go when letting go is needed. You do your part and trust that the universe will do its part. Surrender is not lazy or irresponsible. It's actually the most efficient way to live. When you're not wasting energy on resistance and control, you have more energy available for creative and productive activities. When you're not stressed and anxious about outcomes, you can think more clearly and make better decisions. Surrender is also a spiritual practice. It's recognizing that you're not the one in control of everything. It's acknowledging that there are forces greater than your ego at work in the universe. It's trusting that these forces are benevolent and that they're working for your highest good, even when you can't see it. This doesn't mean you become passive or that you don't take responsibility for your life. It means you do your best and then trust that your best is enough. It means you plant seeds and then trust that they will grow. It means you make plans and then remain flexible when circumstances change. Surrender is ultimately about faith. It's having faith that you're supported by the universe. It's having faith that you're loved unconditionally. It's having faith that everything will work out for the best. It's having faith that you have everything you need to handle whatever comes your way. And when you have this kind of faith, you don't need to control everything. You don't need to worry about everything. You don't need to figure out everything. You can relax and trust that life is unfolding exactly as it should. Let me share with you the importance of service. One of the fastest ways to free yourself from suffering is to focus on serving others. When you're focused on helping others, you're not focused on your own problems. When you're giving to others, you're not thinking about what you're lacking. When you're making a difference in someone else's life, you're not dwelling on your own difficulties. Service shifts your attention from yourself to others. It takes you out of your ego and connects you to your heart. It reminds you that you're not alone in your struggles and that everyone faces challenges. It helps you see that you have something valuable to offer, even when you don't feel like you do. Service doesn't have to be grand or dramatic. It can be as simple as listening to a friend who needs to talk, helping a neighbor with groceries, volunteering at a local charity, or just being kind to strangers. It can be offering your skills, your time, your attention, or your compassion to someone who needs it. When you serve others, you realize that you're not as helpless as you might think. You see that you have the power to make a positive difference in the world. You experience the joy that comes from giving rather than just receiving. You connect with the part of yourself that's naturally generous and loving. Service is also a form of gratitude in action. When you serve others, you're expressing gratitude for your own blessings by sharing them with others. You're acknowledging that you've been helped and supported throughout your life, and you're passing that help and support forward to others, the more you serve others, the more meaningful your life becomes. You're not just living for yourself. You're living for something bigger than yourself. You're contributing to the well-being of others and the betterment of the world. This sense of purpose and meaning is a powerful antidote to suffering. Service also helps you develop compassion. When you see the struggles that others face, you develop empathy for their pain. You realize that everyone is doing their best with what they have. You become less judgmental and more understanding. You see that everyone has a story and that everyone deserves kindness and compassion. This compassion extends to yourself as well. When you're compassionate toward others, you naturally become more compassionate toward yourself. You stop being so hard on yourself. You treat yourself with the same kindness you show to others. You realize that you're human and that it's okay to make mistakes and have flaws. Now, let me tell you about the power of choice. At every moment, you have the power to choose your response to whatever is happening in your life. You can choose your thoughts, your emotions, your actions, and your attitude. You can choose to be a victim or a victor. You can choose to focus on problems or solutions. You can choose to dwell on the past or create the future. Most people don't realize how much power they have. They think they're at the mercy of their circumstances, their emotions, their past, or other people. They think they have no choice but to react to whatever happens to them. But that's not true. You always have a choice. You can't always choose what happens to you, but you can always choose how you respond to what happens to you. You can't control other people's actions, but you can control your own actions. You can't control external circumstances, but you can control your internal state. This power of choice is your greatest freedom. It's what makes you human. It's what allows you to transcend your circumstances and create the life you want. It's what enables you to be the author of your own story rather than a character in someone else's story. When you recognize your power of choice, you stop being a victim. You stop blaming others for your problems. You stop waiting for others to change or for circumstances to improve. You take responsibility for your own life and your own happiness. Taking responsibility is not about blaming yourself for everything that goes wrong. It's about recognizing that you have the power to change your situation, or at least change your response to your situation. It's about being the driver of your own life rather than a passenger. When you take responsibility, you become empowered. You realize that you're not helpless. You see that you have options and alternatives. You understand that you can influence your life in positive ways. You recognize that you're not stuck unless you choose to be stuck. This empowerment is liberating. It frees you from the victim mentality that keeps so many people trapped in suffering. It gives you hope because you know that you can make changes. It gives you confidence because you know that you have the power to handle whatever comes your way. The power of choice also applies to your thoughts and beliefs. You can choose to believe thoughts that empower you or thoughts that disempower you. You can choose to hold beliefs that support your well-being or beliefs that undermine your well-being. You can choose to focus on possibilities or limitations. Your thoughts and beliefs shape your reality. If you believe you're powerless, you'll act powerless. If you believe you're capable, you'll act capable. If you believe life is difficult, you'll experience difficulty. If you believe life is beautiful, you'll experience beauty. Your external world reflects your internal world. This means that changing your thoughts and beliefs can change your life. When you change your mind, you change your experience. When you change your perspective, you change your reality. When you change your beliefs, you change your possibilities. But changing your thoughts and beliefs takes practice. Your mind has been conditioned by years of habitual thinking. It's used to certain patterns and will tend to return to those patterns unless you consciously choose different ones. This is why personal growth requires consistent effort and attention. The good news is that every moment is a new opportunity to choose differently. Every thought is a chance to think more positively. Every emotion is a chance to respond more wisely. Every challenge is a chance to grow stronger. Every day is a chance to create the life you want. As we come to the end of our time together, I want to leave you with this truth. You are not broken. You don't need to be fixed. You don't need to be perfect. You don't need to be anyone other than who you are right now. You are already whole and complete. You are already worthy of love and happiness. You are already enough. The suffering in your life is not permanent. It's not your identity. It's not your destiny. It's simply a temporary experience that you're having. And like all experiences, it will pass. The clouds will clear. The sun will shine again. The storm will end. You have everything you need within you to be happy, peaceful, and free. You have the power to choose your thoughts, your emotions, your actions, and your responses. You have the ability to love yourself and others unconditionally. You have the capacity to forgive, to let go, to start fresh, and to create the life you want. Your freedom from suffering begins with a single choice, the choice to take responsibility for your own happiness. It continues with the choice to be present, to be grateful, to be loving, and to be of service. It grows with the choice to accept what is, to forgive what was, and to create what will be. You are not your thoughts. You are not your emotions. You are not your circumstances. You are not your past. You are the awareness that observes all of these things. You are the consciousness that experiences them. You are the love that remains when everything else falls away. This is your truth. This is your power. This is your freedom. And this is your invitation to live from this place of truth, power, and freedom, starting right now. The choice is yours. The power is within you. The time is now. Your suffering ends when you decide it ends. Your freedom begins when you choose to be free. Your peace starts when you stop fighting and start accepting. Your joy emerges when you stop seeking it outside yourself. You are not here to suffer. You are here to love, to grow, to contribute, and to experience the fullness of life. You are here to be happy, to be peaceful, and to be free. You are here to remember who you really are and to live from that place of truth. The greatest lesson is this: you are already everything you're seeking. You are already whole, already perfect, already free. You just need to remember this truth and live from it. And when you do, your suffering will end and your real life will begin.